Hello, and welcome to Marketing a Business. The objectives of this particular video is to continue our discussion about business. I'm going to continue the discussion based upon the marketing front. I know that's kind of one aspect of a business, but I think it's one that if you understand a little bit, it should help you a little bit. So, with that said, let's talk about marketing. I think the best way to talk about marketing is to talk about the four P's of marketing. It's something that has been around forever. If you ever taken a marketing course or pursued a marketing degree, you will become experts in the four P's of marketing. So this particular video, we're going to talk about them at a high level. At least you can kind of get an idea. In doing my research to help you understand business a little bit, I also come across the new concept of the four C's of marketing. And it's really more of a relevance aspect of marketing. And it's one professor's opinion, but I thought it was really interesting and I thought I would include it into this video. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So, what are the four P's of marketing? The four P's of marketing are categories involved in marketing a good or a service that a business would actually have. And they include product, price, place, and promotion. That's what marketing is all about, how to market your product, how to put it out to market in a way that it could maximize its profits. So when we think of marketing, it's the study of that, how to do so effectively. All right. Obviously, a lot of businesses have their own marketing divisions that do nothing but just that. Okay. Once again, kind of repeating myself a little bit, but by understanding how a business markets their products and services, my hope is it'll help you understand a little bit of the overall concept of a business. All right? That's why I'm going through this. I think it's important that if you understand how they market and how they make money, maybe you'll understand the whole idea of a business a little bit better. Let's kind of go through the four P's of marketing. The first one's product. A product can be either a tangible good or an intangible service that fulfills the need of a consumer. So whether you sell pallets and wood products or provide luxury accommodations, it's imperative you have a clear grasp of exactly what the product is. From an IT professional's point of view, it's really important that we understand what the business is trying to sell. And so from a product point of view, not only does the company need to understand their product and who their customers are and so on, so do we. And so by understanding that, we could possibly come up with good ideas and good for technology. And again, to leverage technology to help them do their work better, to either generate more revenues or to reduce costs. You hear me say that quite a bit. That's sort of the goal of this whole piece, this whole course, if you will, and really your whole career. Now, once a concrete understanding of a product offering is established, we can start making some pricing decisions. So, price determinations will impact profit margins, supply, demand, and marketing strategy. Okay, similar in products and brands may need to be positioned differently based upon varying price points. So, price becomes a huge piece there. Obviously, if you overprice something, nobody's going to buy it. If you underprice something, possibly people will buy it, but in some cases, when you undervalue something, maybe people start wondering why it's so priced so low. So there needs to be a balance there, and it has to be done really effectively. That your price needs to reflect the overall value of what a consumer feels it should be worth. Okay? In some cases, no more, no less. And sometimes the price is not really determined upon the overall cost of a product, meaning that if I built a car and I put the word Porsche on it, I might value that. There's a perceived value that's a little bit higher. So the price needs to be considered higher. But maybe the price, if I put a Chevrolet sticker on it, not doubting Chevrolet, but the price wouldn't be as expensive as a Porsche. So there's a different perceived values that people have, and that's based upon how the products are actually positioned and marketed. Does that make sense? All right. So price is not easy to come up with. It needs to be, played around with a little bit to really determine what the right price should be. The next P in the marketing mix is promotion. It looks at the many ways marketing agencies disseminate relevant product information to consumers and differentiate a particular product or service. There's a couple different pieces here, and again, you can read the rest of the slide in the PowerPoint that I attached to these videos. But from a promotion point of view, now what the marketing team needs to figure out is who's the audience, okay, and how to for that particular product, right? So if I sit back and I look at Corvettes, for instance, so a Chevrolet Corvette, probably the audience of that might be, I don't know, a baby boomer in today's world who has money to spend, that excess money to spend, and so you need to target market, if you will. That's what that term means. You need to promote it to the people who will actually or should be buying the product. Um, I'm trying to think of what you millennials actually buy today. So, but if there's certain products around that. Once again, sorry about that. You would basically target market those, and from radio ads to the stations that different generations would actually listen to. And so you just don't put out a broad thing because it costs too much money to try to market to everybody. So you really need to understand your product, you need to understand your price, and based upon that, you need to understand your audience, who it is that you want to buy your product. And with that, you need to figure out the promotions and target that promotion. All right? Often you will hear marketers say that marketing is about putting the right product at the right price, at the right place, at the right time. It's critical then to evaluate what the ideal locations are to convert potential clients into actual clients. And again, clients and customers, they are the same thing. Today, even in situations where the actual transaction doesn't happen on the web, the initial place potential clients are engaged and converted is online. Online has taken over the whole world, don't you agree? But once again, how do you place the product in the right place so people can find it? All right. Um, it's really kind of interesting. I mean, if you sit back and look at Kroger today, based upon the demographics of where your Kroger store actually is, they've gotten so intelligent based upon data analytics on how to position and place products actually in their aisles for their stores. And so, so people can find it based upon what they're doing. So there's a lot to this, and businesses have to go through a lot. Again, the goal is to generate the most profits necessary. So just by having a product, it doesn't sell on its own. You must look at who the product's for, the customers it's for, who you're going to promote that to, and make sure the price is right so customers feel the perceived value of that product is actually what they're paying for. Oops, sorry about that. So when putting the four P's to work to develop your product, it's important possibly to ask these following questions. And so when you're sitting back thinking about the four P's, I kind of came up with these questions that you could actually ask. What do consumers want from your product or service? How does your product meet those needs? Where do potential buyers look for your particular product or service? How do you differentiate from your competitors? What is the perceived value of your product or service? What current interactions do you have with potential clients? So these questions, I'm going to go back a little bit. I feel just kind of walk through those four P's. That's kind of why I put them here. So if you just kind of look at them from this, if you're coming up with your own business, these are the questions you would ask. Why do consumers want your product or service? That's a big question, right? I mean, if they don't want it, why would you make it? Why would you promote it? You have to determine that this is something that somebody wants and needs. Okay? How does your product meet those needs? And again, where do potential buyers look for your particular product? That's the place piece of all this, right? How do you differentiate from your competitors? That's a promotion piece of this. So if you have competition, which in most cases just about every product does, what makes yours better than the others? Is it the price? Is it the quality? Is it, whatever? What is the perceived value? We talked about that quite a bit already. And what current interactions do you have with potential clients? Meaning, are you networked already? Can you go out and get people to help you sell your products or get things going? Make sense? Okay, I hope it does. Once again, This is marketing. So here you go. You're getting a great education and a couple of slideshows on business, and now you just graduated with a marketing degree. So congratulations about that. I got a master's in marketing, and so I pretty much spent my entire time talking about these four P's in my master's program, and here you guys did it in less than 15 minutes. So that's pretty good. This is a shocking statistic right here. So it's estimated that 80% of new products fail each year. So companies that start up with new products, 80% of the time trying to generate a business from that don't work out. Okay, that's a high number. A professor from, I think it was North Carolina, if you, I believe, don't quote me on that, did not like that statistic. And so he felt that the questions we were asking from the four Ps didn't really relate to today's world. And so he came up with something called the four Cs. I thought it was interesting enough to bring it up to you in these slides. And again, the whole goal here is so you can kind of understand business a little bit better. And so instead of product, price, place, and promotion, he replaced them with consumer cost, convenience, and communication. Excuse me. It's almost the same thing. It's just asking questions a little bit differently. So in this case, consumer, the wants and the needs. So instead of developing the product first and trying to sell it, you go figure out what the consumer wants and needs and then develop the product based upon that. Does that make sense? The cost, once again, what's the cost to satisfy? The convenience, how is it easy to buy? So you got to look at, what is the simplest thing going? And then communications, the give and take of doing so. Real quick here, the consumer wants and needs versus products. You can't develop a product and then try to sell them to mass markets. You have to study consumer wants and needs and then attract consumers one by one with something each one wants. A little bit different approach. I'm not sitting here advocating which approach is the best. I think it's just interesting looking at the two different approaches. And again, the goal is for you to understand a little bit of what businesses go through in generating income. Cost to satisfy. You have to realize that price measured in dollars is one part of the cost to satisfy. If you sell hamburgers, for example, you have to consider the cost of driving to your restaurant and the cost of conscious of eating meat. And so that part's kind of weird. I'm sorry I have that in there. But the whole idea is that there's more of a cost. So where you actually position your restaurant, how people have to get to it, makes a big deal. Is it hard to get to? How much time is it going to take to get to? Is it in a good spot? How long you got to drive to get there? The convenience of doing so. There's more to the price than just the actual price of that particular hamburger. Make sense? Communications. The professor basically feels like promotion. So you're thinking about promotion could be manipulative in a sense, okay? And so with that said, commercials can manipulate people into buying stuff. Uh, if you ever got on HSN or QVC, saw those TV shows selling products, they're definitely manipulating you, making every product sound like something you overly need. His piece is that it should be more of a give and take. That consumers today are much smarter in how they make their decision making, and so it should be a more creative in their advertising, more interactive. All right, that's it. So now you're a marketing genius. And again, the overall goal with this is that I wanted you to understand we talked about a business, how they're made up. We got a product and a service. So what do we do with that product and service? Well, we got to consider what the product is, who our customers are, how we're going to promote that to those customers, how we're going to price it to those customers, and how we're going to place it so they can buy those particular products as easy as they possibly could. Which one's better, the four Ps or the four Cs? It's not really here to say. For the most part, the four Ps have been around for generations. Those are the things you would study if you went and got a degree in marketing. The four Cs are just, again, one professor's perception and a little bit of alterations dealing with today's world and how retail is actually done in today's world with the online aspect. All right, so there you go. Congratulations, you're a marketing genius.